Basschicks and bass suits. This is your girl here, Holly Franklin Basschick, coming at you with a new video today. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to navigate and learn your fretboard. So learning your fretboard is very important when learning bass because you want to know where your notes are. You want to be confident in your playing, whether it's learning your favorite songs or playing with other people or just playing in general. You should be able to confidently navigate your fretboard. So I've broken this down into a few different areas of your instrument that'll be really helpful. If you're trying to learn bass and maybe you want to learn it a little bit quicker, this is a really great guide to help you with that. So without further ado, let's get started. So my biggest thing when learning your fretboard is actually making sure you're in tune. Now, we all play a bit differently. We all tune a bit differently based on the type of music that we're playing and learning. So I tune in standard tuning. Some people do drop tuning, down tuning. So I'm going to show you in standard. Our thinnest string is actually going to be tuned to a G. And that's the string further away from us. The string next to the G is going to be D. And then next to the D is going to be A. And then next to A is E. And that, if you're playing a 4-string bass, is going to be your lowest pitched string, the string closest to you, your thickest string. It may be B. So your tuning is so important for learning your fretboard. So now that we're in tune, there's going to be a few areas that we're going to look at. And one of these areas is actually going to be whole steps and half steps. So whole steps and half steps are super important when playing because you want to make sure you're hitting the right note consistently. And sometimes certain intervals will sound very, very similar. So it is important to know which notes you're hitting and which ones you should be hitting and which ones may be sounding a bit off. So if we start on our G, so our open G, and then we have our first fret. That's going to be a half step apart. And if you know your musical alphabet, G to A would be a whole step because there is, in the middle there, a half step. It's going to be G sharp or A flat. So G, first fret is G sharp, A flat, and it's a half step apart. Now if we go G to A, that's a whole step apart because the G sharp, A flat is the halfway mark to our whole step, which is a way you can think of it. So let's say I want to go B to C sharp. That's going to be a whole step. If I want to go B to C, that's a half step. Our C is the halfway mark between our B and C sharp or D flat. And this would be repeated across your whole fretboard. But it's just really remembering your musical alphabet that will really help you. And your musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So very simple, and there's half steps in between there. So if you know basic theory, then that will really help. So whole steps and half steps are super important in that. Next would be octaves. And you could argue that this could be a first step for you because octaves are actually really simple. So an octave is 12 notes apart from your target notes. In that case, like we have open G, what is 12 notes away from open G? G, which is our 12th fret. So, and then if you go, and you just would add on 12 notes. So if we wanted to do A, it's our second fret, what's 12 steps away from A, it's going to be A again, but it's going to be on the 14th fret. So 12 plus 2 is 14. And that's kind of how you would navigate it. You're always going to have an octave there on your fretboard. So our 5th fret is very important because it is actually the same note as the open string next to it. So if we're on the D string, we're playing the G, which is the 5th fret. Guess what? String next to it, open G, is the exact same note. So if you're tuning and maybe you are unsure if it still sounds correct, or if you tuned it correctly, or something sounds a little bit off, you can play your 5th fret in the open string and see how it sounds. And that's what I like to do after I've used my tuner. I like to do that just to make sure And sometimes if you're in between songs, that's good to do as well. And then dotted frets are good to learn too, because they will tell you what each dotted fret is, and then whole steps and half steps in between there to learn as well. So we're on the A, we have open A, and then our third fret is C, and that's our first dotted fret. And then D, which is our fifth fret. And then we have 7, which is E, 9, which is F sharp, 12, which is A, our octave, 15, which is C, and then we have 17, which is D, 19, which is E, 21, which is F sharp. And as you can notice from there, our dotted frets are also have the same octaves. So that makes it super easy too. And lastly would be fret stickers. And what these are is you can put them on your bass and you can write out what each note would be. Now you can find these on Amazon, and a lot of times they are used for fretless instruments like a violin, viola, cello, things like that. Or if you have a fretless bass, that would work. But if you are a more visual learner, this can be a really great guide for you to learn your bass. So you can buy them right on Amazon and probably different instrument stores for your bass. So thanks for joining me today. I have a whole article on Bass Musician magazine to go along with this video, so be sure to check that out. Don't feel overwhelmed. Take each piece of information that I've given you little by little and just do a little bit. Don't feel overwhelmed and feel like you have to learn your fretboard all in one day. It takes time. So if you start off by learning your octaves first, and then your whole steps and half steps and your fifths and all that, and you remember all that, then that's awesome. But take it day by day. Don't overwhelm yourself. And I want to say thank you for stopping by. And there's tons of other resources on Bass Musician magazine, on their website, YouTube channel, social media that you can check out as well. Thanks, everybody.